Storm being the bowlers company, what that means to me is it's just a great sense of pride. Bowling's, I think everybody in our organization, bowling is a special part of their life, whether it be for fun or competitive or, to get through school. We would say that bowling is Storm and Storm is bowling. So it's just an idea that was grown from a passion of a pastime or of the Christmans going bowling and bowling league and sitting there and watching a ball go down the lane, and they said, how do we make this better? And it's just grown from that. It's a story that I think we all share here. We all have bowled league or have all competed in tournaments, and bowling for us it's a daily Olympics, I guess I would say. It's something that is so special and means so much. Of course, there's other activities that we all like to do, but bowling is the key sport that brings our whole group together and brings us closer. Well, Hank, this Ion Pro for me is it's the perfect upgrade for a benchmark. And maybe you could explain to me, when I was out on tour, everybody used an IQ Tour. And I don't know if I just didn't have enough rev rate, but I had a lot more success with a Phase 2. I had a hard time getting an IQ Tour to go through the pins the right way.
I think the biggest thing is sometimes, IQ Tour is a benchmark for a lot of players, but rev rate's 450, 500 to 600. Where Tyler, you fluctuate between the 300s and 400 RPMs. So the IQ Tours didn't quite give you enough. And the Phase 2s being that 50 diff ball. The RGs are real similar to each other, but yet that little extra diff gave you a little bit more. But the problem was a lot of times you probably ran into that where you had to get a little bit more left, and the Phase 2 would shape but wouldn't quite go through the pins, so you needed something that would still be a little bit cleaner through the front but shape enough, where the Ion Pro, that's that next generation. Hey Alex. Hey man, I know we talked a lot about this technology and trying to do this new benchmark shape, and Tyler and I talked a little bit about this and kind of what made balls of the past so special, and with IQ Tours, Phase 2s, balls that have been, benchmarks in pro shops, benchmarks on tour, even high roads to, back to 2008. Those were all benchmarks in technology for us. And so here we go down this new path, and let's kind of show me what you got here. Let's talk a little bit.
I think those balls really fall into that benchmark category because they match up to a lot of different styles of players, right? So Phase 2, you got the stronger version. IQ Tour, you got something kind of right in the middle, and then a high road. Once the lane, develops, the lane always comes to a high road. Sure. So there have been some changes, though, right? There's more friction on the lane. We've lost balance holes. There's a lot of differences that weren't there back, when the high road came out in 2008. The IQ Tour was 2011. These balls have been out for over 10 years.
Sure.
So some big changes, right? So I think as far as the shape is concerned, we're kind of coming up with a different kind of design with some features that we haven't seen before. We kind of started with basically an ellipse. We've had a lot of success with a lot of different shapes with ellipses, right? It just works really well for creating good RG and differential values. But the unique thing about this one is when we actually turn it sideways in here, and we actually look at like the left or the right, if we stair step those ellipses in a little bit, we create the widest actual ellipse at that y-axis, that high RG axis. So my thought is once we get either a player with their thumb hole, just a pin-up layout, their thumb is going to hit that quite a bit, and it's going to enhance that total differential quite a bit more. And then on the other side of things, if, let's say, the player's two-handed doesn't use their thumb, they're using 2LS layouts and they're using some of those longer pin-to-center grip distances, you're going to start hitting different ellipses on those different RG bands depending on which one you use. So that kind of allows you to really manipulate this shape the closest to your particular style, which I think is a good trait of a benchmark.
And I think the big thing too is trying to, that deciphering of the RG. Hey, Alex. All right, brought in the ions, what we talked about in your office, talked about our new benchmark and shape, trying to middle the gap here between an IQ Tour that's been that benchmark for us in a phase 2. And we talked about this element and core, and we showed those kind of differences and how we used a little bit of old technology with thought processes of new technology and kind of where they fit in, what makes this so special and a new benchmark for us.
Yeah, so we put out 38 feet here. I think I'll probably start with IQ Tour, kind of that benchmark. I'm a little bit more rev dominant, so it'll let me stay a little bit more to the right. I think the goal of this was kind of fit somewhere in between these two. So we'll kind of go down the line with these and we'll see what adjustments that I have to make with my feet, kind of what directions the ball go and how it comes off the friction.
Sounds good, yeah, let's take a look. All right, Alex, so 38 feet, Taj Mahal. We know the IQ Tour is probably a good choice to start, but kind of give me an idea what you saw out there.
Yeah, anytime for me when the pattern's shorter with more rev rate, it's hard to control that downlane reaction, right? And I think a lot of us can kind of fall into that. So the IQ Tour actually let me stay the furthest to the right, the closest to the friction that's built into the pattern, so I could get my ball to slow down a little bit faster. So now as we go to either Ion Pro here or phase 2, with my speed being slower, I'm definitely going to have to creep a little bit more left. And we'll see if that kind of is better or worse for this particular pattern with having to get into more of the body of the pattern where there's more volume.
Sure, the 29 diff, the lower RG and comparable RGs and diffs comparable, but now the asymmetry should blend it a little front to back and both left to right. And that's where we're trying to fill that middle of the zone.
Of both worlds,
absolutely.
Right.
Okay, shots on the 38-footer, Taj Mahal. Now with the Ion Pro, kind of it blended in a little bit more. Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, moving in, a little bit more volume, stronger cover and asymmetry, similar amount of diff like you said. Still kind of blended the lane front to back more than I thought it would. So generally when you start moving left on the short, that window gets a little bit smaller and you get more erratic kind of change in direction. This still gave me, if I could kind of get it going to the right, that asymmetry and stronger cover really blended off of it really good. And if it got up the lane a little bit, I still didn't feel like it was just a straight line to the end of the pattern and then dead hook off the end of the pattern.
Sure, and I mean the difference between an R2S cover and a TX16 cover, you got a bigger footprint, a more cleaner, a little more responsive to friction, and a little more blended. So
Right.
yeah.
So now we'll add more diff and even a little bit stronger cover. Probably force me even a little bit more left, and that's going to probably blend it out even more.
Sure. Yeah. Our biggest benchmark ball here. Let's just see how it compares. All right, now 38 feet, phase 2. Tell me what you saw here.
Even more left, right? Earlier, front to back versus left to right, correct? So the stronger cover, more differential, low RG, that's bringing the spot a lot
Sure.
closer to us. So I think that's a common misconception with the stronger versus weaker balls, right? Everybody's looking at that lateral motion. And as I went left, going to the stronger ball, it's actually hooking earlier, more front to back, and a little bit smoother off the spot
Sure.
down lane.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit where they kind of gets a little forward. It kind of gets behind the pocket a little bit.
If I got this one to the right, it definitely felt like it stood up way too fast.
Right.
And you could see it just didn't want to go through the pins the right way. I'm getting into the flattest part of the pattern, and it's really bowling into a box and to the right, basically.
Sure, and then your angles get too steep, and then you lose the carry. And so
Yeah.
you got to be kind of, you've reached the end of its kind of part of the lane you can go with.
So I think that fits in pretty good in between those two. Let's try a little bit longer pattern and see if adding a little bit more length to it,
Okay.
a little bit less friction down lane, do we still kind of see that front to back, that Ion Pro kind of fitting in between those?
Sure, man. Let's throw the, what do you think, Autobahn 42?
What's up, Gio?
Steve,
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good, man.
We're good.
Hey, got an exciting day here. We got some
Let's
new
see.
cover stocks and selections to show you as we are working through the development of our new Ion Pro.
Yep.
So you might know, or you might be familiar with the core in here being a Pro model design, which is a little bit more stable,
Yep.
right? A little bit more controllable. But we've got some different cover stock options, and one of the biggest, most important parts of developing a new ball is selecting the right cover.
The right cover, yeah.
Right, as you know. So we've got a cleaner cover stock on the IQ Tour. It's the R2S Solid, right? We have a little bit more aggressive cover stock in the TX16 Solid.
Does it even
Phase
need
2.
introduction?
Doesn't, it's that good, right? Everybody knows the Phase 2. And then we have a no-name test ball here that is actually a stronger solid blend that is kind of up on that
So that is
scale.
that's the stronger one, the
That
strongest
is-
one.
That will be the strongest one as well.
Okay.
And then we're going to show you where this TX16 hybrid fits among this mix. So I want you to start with the IQ Tour, get lined up. The pattern we put out here for you is a 40-foot pattern that's not only sport compliant, but more than sport compliant.
Oh, you put something flat there. huh?
It's quite flat, yeah. So not a lot of forgiveness. But when we're working on testing a kind of a tour design or a tour concept ball, that's going to be typically for oil patterns that are a little bit more challenging.
Okay.
So it makes the most sense. So let's get started, and let's start with that IQ Tour.
Let's do it. Any part of the lane that you want me to go, or like just want me to line up?
I
with it?
want you to get lined up, but I got to imagine you'll probably be a little bit more to the outside, being that that one is the cleanest cover.
Okay.
Well, I tell you, watching, it looked like from time to time it was a pretty good ball motion, but what did we notice? At times it seemed like it was getting down the lane a little too far, which could bring it either behind the head pin, or sometimes it could even overreact on.
Yeah, that cover stroke is very responsive, so I felt like it was getting a little behind the head pin. It felt like I needed to either roll a bit more to make it see it earlier, or I need a little bit more surface. It felt like it was a pinch. It's higher volume, isn't it?
It's a little
It
higher
feels like
volume, and the other thing with this oil pattern being a little bit flatter pattern is there's not necessarily a lot of shape in the pattern where you're forced to play.
There's no place where to throw it to.
There's no place to really, and not
Yeah.
much forgiveness, right? So what I'd like to see you do next is grab the Ion Pro, which again, talking the differences between the two balls and the cover stocks, you're going from an R2S solid in the IQ Tour,
Yep.
and then we're stepping it up to the TX16 hybrid, meaning
Hybrid.
part solid, part
Ooh,
pearl.
okay.
And I'd like to
I like it.
you to give it a shot and
I'm excited already.
see what happens.
Let's try this. Man, that's good.
That's nice,
I
right?
really like it.
Now, the one thing, I don't know, what was your move as far as your feet?
I moved like 4 left. I felt that at the beginning, obviously we have thrown a couple shots already, so starting to break down, and that ball, it sees the mid lane much better. I liked it. It started hooking very well. Then I had to move a bit, like adjust. So much this transition that there's already some spot to throw it to, and it looks good.
And
it looks good.
You'd say this is a bit of a step up then from the IQ Tour, but still has
Definitely.
some versatility. The thing I like too, watching the ball go down the lane, is the heavy roll
Yeah.
on the back end, right?
Yeah, no, it sees the milling much better. It still gives you that feel of benchmark type of ball.
Yeah.
Where like for fresh, for that first transition,
Yeah.
still, but it shapes. Like that's why it's nice about it. It shapes like
Yeah.
much better. Like right in this pattern,
Yeah.
it looks better than
Looks
IQ.
really good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I can see the ball, like I said, slow down, read the mid lane, and then still make the shape down lane. Now, for the third step, what I want you to do is throw the phase 2. So now we're going from, yes, there are different cores, but we're going from the TX16 hybrid to the TX16 solid.
Okay.
And it has a little bit more dynamic core, a little bit stronger cover stock as well.
Okay.
So give that one a shot.
Okay. Do you want me to stay the same? You want me to move left?
Let's go ahead and start at the same place, and then let's see what happens from there.
Good.
Pretty good.
Yes.
Pretty good reaction.
It's a phase 2.
But we did see, like, say, like a 3-6-10 or solid 9 or something like that.
No, definitely. It feels stronger. The core is stronger. So obviously the bowling ball wants to grab the lane much more. And it forced me a little farther left.
A little farther left.
Yeah. To the point where it felt that maybe a little too far left for where it seems right now
Yeah.
that the lanes are playing. Maybe later when I have to even further left, I could go to the phase 2. But right now, I would say Ion Pro.
And taking into account
It's better.
the actual oil pattern itself, when we get a little bit too far inside, we're moving into not another mound of oil, because it's
To the flatter
it's a
part of the
sport-
lane also.
It's a sport, yeah. So just like we had a little bit of trouble with the IQ Tour if we were too far to the right on the pattern, we could have some issues with the phase 2 if we're too far left
Yes.
of the pattern that we need to be.
Yes.
And now speaking of too far left, I have a test ball that has an undisclosed, not only core design, but also cover stock. But know that it is a stronger, more aggressive cover.
All right, Steve. You know, since the time that I've been here, about the past 10 years or so, we have these benchmark balls and we have pro type balls that, you know, color influences the type of direction we're going with that piece. So what makes a pro ball or a tour ball a tour ball?
Well, you know, one of the things, if you go back, and there have been a lot of tour balls going back early in the Storm days, we had the Red Sunstorm Tour Edition. I don't know if you remember that, but it was a one color, you know, just a single tone ball. We had some Thunder Flash Pros. We had Bolt Pro. Historically, pro level types of balls are kind of more, I won't say no frills, but it's kind of like there's not a lot of extra pizzazz to it. It's more about a predictable, smooth, understandable ball motion, because typically at the pro level, the bowlers at that caliber have a higher rev rate, and they don't need a lot of extra help out of the cover stock or out of the weight block to create the shape that's needed on the lane. So typically, if you're looking at a pro or a tour type of a ball, you're looking at something that's going to be just a little bit more stable. And even when you're looking at the colors or the outside, the appearance of the ball, a lot of times there's not a lot of extra colors, contrast,
Right.
bright, flashy stuff. And I think a lot of that just happens to be what the appeal is for a lot of maybe what that professional level eye is looking for, is to clearly understand and see what's happening as it goes down the lane. And if there's a variety or a big, huge contrast to different colors, the ball is going to appear a little bit different going down the lane than what their eyes used to.
Yeah, I know what you mean, especially with the balls that are the reds and the yellows and the golds, the ones that kind of blend into the lane. The balls that are usually darker or one tone or tonal, you get more of a contrast that pops off of the lane, and it's easier for you to read the ball. And I think that's what helps the pros at that level get a better understanding and imagery of what's happening on the lane, because the ball is giving them kind of instant feedback. Okay, so when we're building these balls from scratch, it usually starts from the inside and goes out. We decide what core we want to use, what cover stock material, is it going to be pearl solid hybrid, the color, and then ultimately the finish. And the finish decisions come from the testing that we do. So what was decided upon that would make a good benchmark type of reaction surface finish for the Ion Pro?
Well, the big thing when you're looking at a benchmark is you need to make sure that you are allowing yourself some moves up or down in your
Right.
arsenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we had, for example, and this is it's a milder asymmetrical, right? But this is a premier line type of a shape. If we were to apply too much surface or too dull of a surface, it's going to probably creep up high and be a lot closer to some of the bigger balls in my bag, like an Absolute Power, for example. But on the other side of it, if I take it down and let's say we smooth it out with like a Smooth Edge or Extra Shine or React-A-Gloss, something like that, when we're looking for a benchmark ball, we're looking for something that's really going to read that pattern and give us a true understanding of where the oil is at on the lane. And if the ball's too shiny or too dull, it's either going to scoot and just slide through the mid lane, or it's going to start grabbing before it even gets there. And we're not really going to understand what's happening in that middle part of the lane and then be able to adjust off it, either going up or down.
Yeah.
So
giving yourself some latitude is important, not only what you have in your bag, but from the design process as well.
that's right, yeah. And if we have too smooth of a surface on this, it may push me too close to where the drier part of the lane is, which then may overreact, right? Or if we have too much surface, it may push me too far inside to where I'm not taking advantage of where that built-in shape is from the oil to the dry, and maybe I never even really see the drier part of the lane.
You'll never match up to it if you're too much in one direction.
That's exactly right.
Take know from just user experience that 4000 is one of the most versatile surfaces that we use. You think IQ Tour, it's 4000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's 4,000, and 4,000 on the Ion Pro allows me to get my laydown on this pattern, around 17, 18 or so. Play in between the second and third arrow, which is going to be a nice part of the pattern, and on most patterns, that's going to allow me to then still retain a little bit more oil left to move into as the condition breaks down. So I'm not starting too far to the right and messing with where that out of bounds can typically be, or even overreaction if it's dry.
all right, Steve, we just shined up your Ion Pro with using smooth edge on a ball spinner. So it should be something that's easily replicable in the Pro Shop. So I want you to stand in the same spot with your feet, look at the same target, kind of get a baseline of what the reaction characteristics of this is now that it's shiny
With the new surface.
with the new surface. All right, so there's definitely a noticeable difference between the two reactions.
Yeah.
So you got this lined up in the same spot as before, but
Right.
there was a difference down lane. What did you have to do to adjust to the change in the surface?
Yeah, well, basically, when I was lined up before with the box finish, you could see the ball sort of slow down in the mid lane and then read the pattern down kind of in the back ends. It was kind of shaping nice. Now, it's not that it's too far off, but I can feel that ball scooting through there just a little bit more easily. And now all of a sudden, the ball's hitting lighter. The shaker, light flat tens, shaker tens, messenger in front of it, the 7-pin, just not right. And I kept trying to get my feet a little bit closer to the friction. And then as soon as I did, what happened? 4-9 and the 9-pin failure, I just leave a 4-pin.
Yeah.
It's like, so what do I do now? Well, for me, it just kind of proves that I need to have a little bit more surface on this ball, something that's going to slow down and read that mid lane a lot better, and not just kind of scoot through it. So that's what that tells me. For me, the proof is in the ball reaction or the ball motion, which for me right now, with that real shiny finish, not ideal.
Your transition zones are too short, so your pocket down at the pocket is a little smaller window, so
Definitely smaller.
you're going to see more 4-9s with that.
Yeah, and then if I try to move off the 4-9, then I get the shaker 10 or half 10, or it's not giving me any margin for error.
Yeah, over-under is not a bowler's best friend.
No.
All right, Steve, so we went the other direction. Instead of shiny, we went dull. So this is another surface that you could do. I want you to stand in the same spot as you were. Your set down in the beginning with the out of box was about 17 board, 16, 17.
Yep.
So stand in the same spot, and then let's adjust off of that.
And it looks like it's maybe 1,000 or so?
It's about
pretty-
1,000.
Pretty gritty, yeah. It looks like it's got some surface. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start there, and I got to assume with this finish,
We know what's going to happen.
we know what's going to happen, but let's show everybody what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad.
So it's pretty clear to see that that ball got offline a lot quicker and got going forward a lot sooner down lane. Now, it was a different reaction than the other two completely, but was it the right reaction?
Well, I started out just like kind of we expected. We would see the ball hook too much too soon, come offline. First shot's Brooklyn, move 3, 4-9, still hook too much, move another 2. And then I started hitting the pocket, but the one thing I noticed is that all of a sudden now, the ball was shaping the lane okay, but where was I sliding?
Pretty deep.
That's pretty.
You had to get into the
I
deeper
had to
oil.
because of that surface. So it wasn't allowing me to really, while I could hit the pocket, I couldn't take advantage of maybe where that miss room would be, a little bit left and right. So that's why this kind of a surface, while it looks okay on this, boy, talk about maybe just another game or two in, and now all of a sudden it's going to be, the oil pattern will be completely flat because we've used up all that oil in the middle of the lane because the surface forced my feet that far inside.
Yeah, and your reaction is going to get flatter and flatter.
Yeah.
Just watching it go through the pins, it was different than you struck, but it's not the type of look I would want my ball to go through the pins as.
And that last shot, I mean, you could kind of see really there at the end. I mean, you see it started kind of read in the mid lane, but there was one that really was kind of really soft that probably 8 out of 10 times it's not going to strike.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we're talking about a benchmark ball and a benchmark reaction. So what do you need to have with that? You got to have balls that are up from that. And if you have a ball that's prepared with 1,000 grit, for me, for my speed and rev rate balance, 1,000 grit prep ball on just about anything is going to have to tip on that higher side of my arsenal, right? It's going to have to be one of my quote unquote bigger balls.
So you're going to err on the side of more surface than not enough surface.
Especially if I'm looking or needing to play that deep, I'm going to need that kind of surface. But again, for an ideal benchmark type of reaction and a benchmark type of a ball, I'm not going to want that much surface.
All right, Gary. Here it is. This is it. You ready for it?
Is this the one? Is this
Your
it?
brand new benchmark. The
Have you thrown
Ion Pro.
Did you throw it?
I have thrown it.
Is it what everyone says? The team is
It's-
so pumped about it.
Unlike anything I've honestly ever thrown. And if I throw something that I enjoy and I have fun throwing it, then it's got to be different than everything else, and that's different.
It looks great. Yeah. What did you put in it?
So that's a new fragrance. It's Kiwi Tart.
Kiwi tart. All right. Man, I can't wait. Is this 14 or 15?
It's 15 pounds, 3 ounces. Your favorite.
This is perfect for me. All right, I'm doing it.
Okay, you can.
Can
borrow
I drill
my-
it?
Yeah, you can borrow my PAP if you want.
I'll borrow your PAP. I'm pumped, man. I want to go chuck it down the lane
All right.
down there.
I can't wait to watch.
All right. Thanks. All right. Hey, Rob, what's going on?
Not much, Gary. How are you?
You're at the TOC, and Chad McLean just brought in this beauty, Ion Pro. And oh, man, it's a thing of beauty for sure. And it smells good too. We're sending a bunch your way for the tour team to throw down the lane. You heard about this ball. You saw it a couple months back when we were doing all the original testing.
I did. The ball development team was very excited. They, creating a new benchmark ball to kind of build off of, the old Storm staples of the IQ Tour and the Phase 2. And so they're bringing some new technology and, obviously redefining what the benchmark ball is. And I'm very excited for our players to get their hands on them.
Yeah. And did I mention it smells good, Rob? It smells delicious.
What's the scent?
I don't know. What does the box say? Let me see what the box says. Chad brought in Kiwi Tart.
Kiwi Tart.
It
Okay.
smells delicious. Hey, listen, so we're sending these off your way. I wanted to just jump on this quick call. Good luck at the TOC this week and root on a Storm victory, huh?
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it.
All right, see ya.
We just got word here at the TOC from our product development team back in Utah HQ about the all-new Ion Pro by Storm. This is a new benchmark ball that's been developed. It's a very low RG with the mass placed towards the center of the ball. It's very low diff as well, and some mild asymmetry to it. Combine that with the TX16 hybrid cover. It's really truly the perfect marriage between core and cover that's going to create that benchmark ball at the elite level of the game. Patterns have changed, over the last 5, 10 years, the players have changed. We have more and more power in the game today. The synthetic surfaces continue to have more and more friction. And so volumes of oil have increased on the lane, and your benchmark ball from, a decade ago might not hook enough or might not have enough core strength to get going. And really what people are looking for in that benchmark ball is to get that read on the lane, what the oil pattern is asking for you to do. And so with the new Ion Pro, we've kind of put all of that together. So it can be the first ball out of your bag, whether it's a short, a medium, a long pattern, and really give you that read on what you're looking for, throughout your competition and throughout each block of qualifying.
You guys made it up. You took the drive. Awesome. Deanna, Billy, thanks for coming up today. Teammates, I asked you to bring your favorite ball. So for you, that's a phase 2, right, Deanna?
Yes, it is.
All right, and for you, Billy, you like a Revenant.
Yes, I do.
All right, so we're going to test these balls against our brand new Ion Pro, and we're just going to see how you like it, see how it performs compared to your 2 favorite kind of benchmark balls, right?
Yes.
All right, Billy, you're going to go first.
All right.
So we're going to have you up first. So come on, let's do this.
Great. Let's do it.
All right, so Billy, I know I bowl league with you every Tuesday night, right? So I know how you kind of like to play the lanes, which you like to start a little left, maybe around the 3rd arrow, throw that Revenant, give it a little room, have it come back. That's your A game, right?
Yeah, that is correct, yeah.
And you feel most comfortable doing that.
I do. That is my comfort zone for sure.
All right, very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to get you lined up right now with the Revenant, and then we're going to introduce you to the Ion Pro, and then we'll see how that transpires and see what kind of adjustments you need to make and if you're liking it. Sound good?
Awesome. Can't wait.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
Let's do this. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
All right, so you got to throw your 5 shots with the Revenant, kind of lined up. Well, how do you feel about the ball motion? What do you think?
In the beginning, it was great, but kind of lost its flip there. The more I threw it, so
Okay.
yeah, I didn't do too well with it on this
right.
on this condition. So.
All right, but you got your 5 shots here.
I
You got
did,
to see
yeah.
what happened. Good, good, good. Now we're going to go to the Ion Pro. Why don't you grab that, give it a whirl, and then we'll go on from there.
Okay.
All right. So Ion Pro, now you've got to throw that 5 times. What did you think about that? How did it shape up compared to the Revenant, your current benchmark ball that you like?
I think this ball is going to be a lot more versatile for me. I was able to jump left, but I had to stay into it because the ball flips on the back end really good.
Has a little get up and go
It
down
sure
lane.
does.
You like to move in, you like to give
Absolutely.
it some room, and so got some aggressive move on the back end for a benchmark type ball.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, good.
I believe this can be a benchmark ball for myself for sure.
Yeah, all right. Cool. Well, let's see how the wife does.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, Deanna, we bowl league every Tuesday night. I know the phase 2 is your go-to benchmark ball.
Yes, it is.
So I asked you to bring it to Storm today. You're going to throw it for 5 shots. And then, when you're done with that, we're going to throw the new Ion Pro. And we're going to have a little chat about how they compare.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, let's grab that phase 2 and
Excited.
give it a roll. Trusty phase 2 strikes again. Good job, good job. Typically, you like to play closer to second arrow, pretty direct,
Yes,
right?
Yes, yes.
Phase 2 does good for you.
Yes.
Yeah, you average
Love it.
close to 200. You bowled your first 300 this year, so you're
That is
killing it.
true.
I love it. All right, so now we're going to throw this Ion Pro, our new groundbreaking benchmark ball, and we're going to see how she performs for you.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Let's do it.
All right.
All right, Deanna. Well, you got 5 shots in with the Ion Pro. It's pretty strong, controllable, like you like. With your phase 2, it let you play around the second arrow like you like. Just kind of more motion than the phase 2 in general.
A little bit more, yes.
A little stronger,
A
maybe.
little stronger, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we appreciate you doing our fun little test. We hope that you get your second 300. We know you had 300 already this year, so looking for number 2, right?
Yes, sir. That'd be nice.
All right. Well, thanks for coming down and doing
Thank
this
you.
for us.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
having us.
All right, folks. So here's the deal. You heard from our team, you heard from our pros, and now you've heard from our amateurs. And they all are saying the same thing about our new innovation, groundbreaking technology that is the Ion Pro, and it is a new category of benchmark. And we hope that you'll go out to the local VIP Pro Shop and pick one up and give it a try. You will not be disappointed. All right, hey friends, and welcome. My name is Gary. I'm joined with the guy himself, Mr. Alex Hoskins. Alex, thanks for taking some time to answer our questions. It's our little after party, so to speak, on this.
Yeah, we're always excited here at Storm. New ball release, new information, benchmark ball.
We're so pumped. And Alex, we're giving away 3 of these bad boys to lucky winners. And first up, Blair's been in the feed. She's monitored all the comments, and the winner is Ivan Lopez. Ivan Lopez, you, when the time is right, which this ball is releasing on June 28th, our friends. June 28th is when the ball releases, Ivan. We will get your information and get you taken care of and get you a ball. Listen, I want to talk. There's a lot of questions going on in the chat during the video. And the number one question I want to talk about really is AI core technology wrapped into Ion Pro. Of course, AI made its introduction a year ago, and it's been fantastic. It's a game changer, but you have some inside knowledge that no one really knows about.
Yes. Yes.
Can you share with us this cool thing?
We'll give a little bit. Yeah. So AI has really been a game changer for us here. And I think one of the things that makes this super unique about this Ion Pro is this is the first Storm ball that we actually designed the weight block having AI core technology in mind. And that really created some unique ways to create some different shapes out of this and create some very different RG and differential numbers than we've normally seen. So basically, when we look at the numbers here in 15 pounds, we're at a very low RG number, so 2.47. All that means, ball's going to spin up really quickly as it comes off your hand. Right. If your rev rate's a little bit lower, if there's some friction on the lane, your ball's going to want to start seeing the lane a lot quicker and want to go through the pins a little bit harder. We have kind of a lower amount of diff for a premier line bowling ball. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's lower performance. It's more of that predictable type performance that we're looking for in a benchmark type bowling ball. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But then we also have some asymmetry in there as well. Rules have changed over the last 10 years. There's a lot of different no balance holes. We're not able to create the same dynamics that we could before with certain layouts without building that into the core design. So this is really the first core design where AI core technology and all of these things have come together with being able to create the right dynamics for a lot of different styles of player.
Yeah, and that's my next question is when all the testing has indicated and shown and proven to us and our team, and we've been studying it because these things don't happen overnight. This has been in the works for a very long time. You can touch on that if you'd like, but really we're talking about the reliability of this product. We're very excited about how flexible it is and how so many different styles are going to be able to have success with Ion Pro.
Yeah, I think we really get excited at Storm when we start talking about those benchmark, those pillar type balls that really fit in for a lot of different styles of player and a lot of different patterns. You know, we're always trying to build a very diversified product line across the brands. And as you start kind of getting out on those edges, it gets a little bit more better for a certain style of player and maybe not as good for another style of player.
Or more condition specific too, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And we know the environment's changing all the time. What we're bowling on is changing. There's countless different styles of player. So it's very important that we really tried to centralize this in a unique design that we haven't ever had before on the Storm side, which is a very low RG, low diff, asymmetrical shape that gives the bowler a lot of different options, not only drilling, but with surfaces like you guys saw in the video there.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, you know, the premier lineup for Storm has always been this is our top. When it comes to our new tech, the premier line is usually where it falls in, right? They're asymmetric balls, new kind of covers and cores. And with this ball, you find that the numbers are a little different, but the performance is through the roof and everything is shaping up really well. One of the things that we were talking about before was, although this ball is so user-friendly for all styles of play, you also mentioned something to me about two-handed style bowlers and why to them specifically they might enjoy this type of ball.
Yeah, I think a big thing with two-handed players, and this was really, we know the number of two-handed players has just grown exponentially over the last 5-10 years. What's really unique about this core design in that Element Tour AI core is you have those different ellipses in there, right? And they're actually stair-stepped and they get smaller as you get closer to the x-axis or the pin, okay? Our 2LS drilling system utilizes the pin where those fingers are drilled in relation to the pin. So if you're changing that last number and you're going from maybe a 2 to a 4, you're hitting completely different RG bands and different ellipses in there, which is really going to help you dial in that reaction to that particular two-handed player a lot more than some historical designs have been. And that's just one of those things of rule changes, changing how we think about technology and design.
Yeah. And exciting for me, I'm not a two-handed player. I'm a senior player. My ball speed has gone down. My rotation has gone down. And my track has gone down, Alex.
It's all going down.
It's all going downhill for me. But you gave me hope with this core design as well, because it's going to benefit me as well, right?
And I think this is a really important thing to talk about. A lot of people are going to look at this and see, hey, 35 diff, my rev rate's only 200, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get this to shape. there's a huge difference at 25 diff to 35 diff. You're going to see still plenty of separation between those flare rings. And the other thing is, with those design features that I talked about of having that larger kind of ellipse at that y-axis, this ball gets stronger and maintains its dynamic integrity a lot more through drilling. And I can tell you, one of the first people that actually threw and drilled this was my fiance, Brooke. And she only has
plays them a little straighter.
Very straight, 225 RPMs. I mean, her ball, we're usually asking for her ball to hook as opposed to not hook. So,
and she was loving it.
Plenty of change in direction down lane. You could see that at the end too of our video there.
Deanna was in there, and I bowl league with Deanna. She's one of my teammates, her and her husband, Billy. And they both play them totally different. So it's exciting for me to have them come to Storm and test these balls. They didn't get to throw them. They didn't even know what these balls were when they were filming. And Billy always likes to get in and kind of curve it a little bit, and Deanna likes to go a little straighter. And both of them really found a lot of success here throwing the ball.
Sure.
So made me feel like, man, this ball is kind of for everyone.
And I think we saw that a lot through the entire testing process. You know, we are the bowlers company here at Storm, and we've had a lot of different styles test this ball. And, you know, generally in R&D, you know, you're getting this feedback from everybody. Some people are like, you know, they'll give their thought on this and their thought on that. It's not very often that everybody's feedback that you're getting is like, hey, this really matched up really well for what I'm looking for on all these different conditions. And that's kind of what we saw here. And that's the kind of thing that you want to see when you're talking about a home run in kind of a benchmark type ball.
I think it's time to give away our second prize of the day. Blair has been, producer Blair's doing a great job, by the way. Thank you, producer Blair. And when we get back from this, I want to talk about surface adjustments with this new cover stock as well, Alex. So get those thoughts in mind. Producer Blair, rumor has it Brian Hara is our lucky number 2 winner of an Ion Pro, which comes out June 28th. And we're ahead of this by a lot because it's such new innovative technology. There's going to be a whole docu-series coming out in the upcoming weeks that takes a deeper dive into each little technology, the technological breakthrough, I should say. And so I want to talk quickly about surface adjustments because that's a key thing that you and the team always work on, right? You're always talking about, man, we want to make a ball that people can dial in. And so having cover stocks that like to take on surface changes and can be adjusted frequently is a big deal in our sport.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost, honestly, it's number one because, you know, we can only manufacture the ball at one out-of-box finish, and we try and pick the out-of-box finish, you know, that's going to match up to a majority of players. But hey, honestly, there's nothing wrong with changing it, and you're going to have to change it because some players are more speed dominant, some are more rev dominant. So that surface changing or surface being able to manipulate the surface really is an important thing in the cover stock. And I think TX16 has become pretty famous over time, the solid version in the phase 2, that, hey, this can have a lot of surface on it. This can be lane shine. This can just be thrown for 1,000 games and it still rolls pretty good. It's a very repeatable type reaction for surface changes with the TX16 hybrid reactive.
Yeah, and I'm loving that it's the first time, but it's like this formula has been around phase 2 since 2016, right? TX16. It's been a long time. It's pretty much, it's a staple in players' arsenals. This new version is new, and I'm loving what I'm seeing out of it too, because you're getting that flexibility in the cover stock that we talked about, right?
Yeah, I think there's just so many ways you can go with this. Is you're not, the cover stock doesn't dominate this, the weight block doesn't dominate this. You can manipulate and guide this ball to what you need for the player and for the environment that you're in. And I think that's, again, a very important aspect of a good benchmark type ball.
One of the things that I'm pumped about, so I'm in the marketing world right here at Storm. And so I'm just talking, we're the bowlers company. All of us love to bowl. Some of us are better at it than others. Like you're fantastic. Steve, who's in the video, all of our team, you guys are really high-end bowlers. I'm kind of just a league bowler. Producer Blair's a league bowler. And we love when we come out with new stuff because we get as geeked out about it as the hardcore bowlers, right? This one is special to us because of the innovation wrapped around it. And when we were talking over the last few months before making this announcement, we were thinking back. IQ Tour has been around since July of 2012. 2012. It is a home run staple legend ball. Phase 2, October 2016. It's still going strong. People are using it at the Open Championships. They're loving it. They're bowling great with Phase 2s and IQ Tours, right? I believe, in talking with all of you, our smart people in the building, this ball, Ion Pro, is that kind of next generation of, we expect it to be around a decade. I mean, this ball is so different. It's so good. It's so versatile. And it's based off the reliability of these two massively proven winners with IQ Tour and Phase 2 that this should be a new benchmark for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to tell me about throwing IQ Tour in Phase 2. You can just ask anyone around here, and
that's your state. That's your ball.
There's plenty of those going down the lane.
Yeah.
But what I do love about this is it does take certain aspects of those balls that have made them kind of that legendary status, and then thrown in some new tech as well. That's completely different than all this from those things that we've learned over those years. We're always constantly learning here. And it's really important that we've kind of put all those things together and applied it to really create this masterpiece of a bowling ball.
One thing that was talked about, and I don't want to give an exact number or percent, I don't want to pigeonhole us on this, but it's a large number that we were kicking around internally about, well, how many different oil patterns would this ball really be good on? Like, you know how they have, I don't know, 4 or 5 dentists recommend you chew a certain gum. Okay, so this ball's so flexible. Like, how many do you think? I'm not asking the percentage, but just in your testing, because you've been testing for months and months, you've seen it on many different patterns, from shorter to longer to, flatter to more league type patterns.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about that with how the environment is always changing, right? So there's so many different patterns and so many different options. I already saw it in the comments section while the video was playing earlier. This is a ball that you're maybe going to need 2 or 3 of possibly, because you can dial that in to get those different reactions that you're looking for that particular style of player. But the core numbers, low RG, low diff, asymmetry, hybrid cover, little bit of texture, that's going to match up on a lot of different patterns. Whether it's shorter, it still spins up quick enough to come off the end of the pattern smoothly. And if it gets a little bit longer, the volume's a little deeper. It doesn't hook so early that it's just getting offline and forcing you into the wrong part of the lane. You could kind of see that with my section a little bit. I throw it a little slower. I'm not forced as far left as some other balls that possibly have more surface or more differential or stronger covers.
Right.
It just really, the target was to shoot that right in the center of what all those are. And it really fits really well on each end of those different patterns that you're going to encounter.
We have one more ball to give away, and producer Blair's ready. She's got it. And I think I know this name because, and this is no strings attached here, Stacy Ryder. Stacy Ryder, I believe Stacy Ryder and I bowled, if it's the same Stacy Ryder, we bowled juniors together, Alex, when we were kids years and years and years ago. So Stacy, congratulations. You're our third and final winner. Alex, thank you for your time. Thank you for answering the questions. And honestly, I want to thank you and your entire team here. Our R&D team cares so deeply about the products that you're working on. And it's not just a SKU. It's not just a widget. It's something meaningful. And this ball you guys are so pumped about because you know that, hey, look, if someone's just got the budget to get one ball a year, this is probably a good choice because you're going to be able to throw it on so many different patterns and leagues and tournaments and stuff. And then if you have the budget to buy more balls a year, you're able to get this one as that middle ground that really is a winner, and then kind of go up or down from there and build a really solid arsenal.
Yeah, when we do all kinds of seminar stuff, right? We teach at a few different schools and everything, and arsenal building is almost always number one, right? And the very beginning, where we start with the arsenal, right in the center, that benchmark ball.
Right.
And this is now just encompassing so much more of that it makes building an arsenal so much easier, because you can just go each direction now and feel confident that you know what you're going to get.
Life's complicated enough, folks. Bowling shouldn't be. That's what Alex just said. So I think at that, we let you all go. We thank you for tuning in and watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. Congratulations to our winners. And congratulations to all of you that come June 28th can go out and pick up one of these beautiful Ion Pros. You're not going to be disappointed. It is state-of-the-art technology, and it's a great innovation, and the team's really proud. We hope you bowl up a storm.